Hello, thanks for joining me here. I'm Will Marsh, and today I'm doing a demo of the Maharaja electric sitar. And this is a sitar listed on Amazon.com at a price of $579. You can see this instrument here. And I thought that many of you might be curious about how an instrument at this price point sounds, so I decided to do a little demo video of this Maharaja electric sitar. And for today I want to focus on three main points. The first being, why would I recommend the sitar? The second being why I would not recommend it. And the third being, what are some alternatives if you are looking for a first sitar. Now first, let me just play it acoustically for a minute or so you can hear how it sounds. I'm in the key of D. So here you can hear the sound of this Maharaja sitar acoustically. And now I want to jump into point number one, which is, why would I recommend this sitar? Well, for the price point of, under $600, the sitar is fully functional. It's playable. It plays like a sitar, and if you're not ready to invest more than $600, it's a great starting point to give you a sense of how the sitar sounds and feels at a low price point. Now let's move on to number two, why I wouldn't recommend this sitar. And first I'll say I was really hoping to plug it in for you and play it through an amp, as it is an electric sitar. You can see it's got some onboard volume, tone, and a 1/4-inch jack. But I'm getting no sound from this, and it's just not working. I've troubleshot it and tried to fix it, but I'm having no luck with the electronics, and unfortunately I've experienced this a lot with instruments from India, where the instrument can be great, but the electronics are really not that reliable. So that is a downside to this one. And furthermore, I want to share that although this will give you the sense of what sitar is like in its basic form, this particular sitar is lacking in some pretty important ways that, if you really got interested in being serious about sitar, they would become issues for you. And the first one is that the body of this sitar, the diameter, is quite small, smaller than even other electric travel sitars. And what happens with that is that means my wrist really needs to curve a lot to play with the mizrab. Whereas on another sitar, it would be higher up, and my hand would be more like this. So I noticed that when I was practicing on the sitar a lot, it was a little uncomfortable for my wrist position after a while, and it's just really not the best technique. Another thing is that the sitar does have the bass strings, like this one, but it really isn't set up properly. There really needs to be some care into how the bridge is cut to get the right resonance in the bass strings. You can hear that kind of buzzing. So that would be a drawback if you're really wanting to learn and play on all of these strings. And lastly, if you decided to seriously study sitar and you have these limitations I just mentioned, you just spent the $579 on this, and you're already kind of wanting a new sitar that's more reliable and suitable for you. So those are the drawbacks. Now I want to share with you, what are some alternatives. Well, if you're somebody who thinks that you might seriously pursue studying and practicing sitar, for just a couple extra $100, you can get a reliable instrument that will really serve you if you take up learning sitar seriously. Now, a couple things about finding that sitar. I know it can be a little difficult shopping for a sitar, especially if you can't play it in person. There are some great resources out there. I'd be happy to help you search for a sitar. You can email me, will@willmarshmusic.com, with any questions. I'm more than happy to just help guide you in this process. And another thing is, the electric sitar idea is pretty cool, but I kind of recommend getting a traditional sitar for your first one if it's something you really want to study, because then you can feel that traditional version and then always move over to an electric one. It's not wrong to get an electric one. Those are also fun instruments, but I would say that it's just not that important for it to have to be electric. You can get an external pickup and put that on there to be able to plug in on a traditional sitar. So again, these are my summaries here. The 3 takeaways is I would recommend this instrument if you're just a little curious about sitar. You don't want to spend over $600. This is in a low price point, and you can hear that it plays and sounds like a sitar. I wouldn't recommend it if you're thinking sitar might be something more serious for you. You would quickly kind of grow out of the limitations on this. And thirdly, for not too much more money, you could get a more reliable first sitar. And I'm happy to help you with any questions with that. Again, will@willmarshmusic.com. It's been fun sharing this with you, and I look forward to sharing more. Thanks for joining me.